Mr. Spider. Mr. Spider. They coax him out. Oop. 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 Look out. Where you gonna go, Mr. Spider? You gotta leave. You need to leave. Oh, there he goes. Now here we are, and this is the second Casio keyboard that I've ever had open. And although it looks identical to the other one, which is a CDP120, I suspect that what's happened here is that the reason these keys become terribly loose is because there's simply a lack of tension here on these nylon holders. This thing here, this piece of plastic here, appears to be nylon. So my first strategy here, seeing how this is so well laid out for this proposed repair, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and find an object to wedge into this gap here. Yeah, a wedge in between them, which will actually add pressure and hopefully give a bit more stability. So this wobbling that this particular generation of keyboards is notorious for. Which one am I on? This one here. So I'm going to try and find something and do a little test of concept to see if I can improve that stability. Okay, so this is what I've done so far, just as a test of the concept here. I've got some playing cards, and the difference is excellent. Right here, you can see the play, really sloppy, and then here, that's back to the way it was when it was new. And further to that, there's no decrease in how easily the key moves up and down, which is what I was worried about when I was starting this process, which is why I thought the experimentation would take a bit longer than this. But you can see there, that's perfect now. So what do you need? Well, I've decided to use this regular washing up sponge, between 2 and 3 millimeters thick. As well as that, some card. Now this is actually business card, blank business cards, which you can get from an office supply shop. I'm also using some small pieces of plastic. That's actually from a holographic picture. And I've decided to put them in an arrangement with some double-sided tape here. So that's this one, of course, is double-sided. I've got a single-sided version that I think I've used quite a few of already. So a piece of sponge on either side. I've then got this one that I thought of last night, which is just a little bit thicker again, by using 2 thicknesses of the card. You've got a piece of sponge on each side there. As an intermediate one, I've got this bit here, which is on a piece of paperback plastic. So that's a little bit thicker than having a piece of card with 1 sponge, but it's thinner than having 2 sponges. The other thing that I've made is I've made this little tool here, and this is just made out of a fruit juice bottle PET. And the point of this is, in order to get these things in easily, you put this in here, and then you can slide. I'm holding a camera here, but you put that in there, and then you can slide the spaces in there. Down there, looks like the right thickness. Yep. And you can get a feel for it as well, as to whether it's too as to whether it's pushing them too much, because you can feel how tight it is when you push it in there. Also, you'll notice that when you put it in, it pushes it to one side, and you need to get the spacer in on the other side to see whether or not it's going to centre up properly, and then adjust. That was actually really well centred. Now that F sharp there, that's the one that I demoed before as how bad it was, so I might do that one now, just to show you the difference before and after. I'm going to start off and use just a pair of these regular doubles. Oh. That one's tighter than I would like it, but this key is extra loose, so I'm going to leave that in there for now. Put this double in here. Yeah, look at that. It's good. And you can see there's a gap open up there between the two white keys. I haven't yet got a spacer in that one, or a gap filler in that one yet. And so when I put one in there, I've got to watch and make sure that I try and get that white key back over a little more. That's too loose, so I'm going to get the next size up, which is a single plus the plastic backing. That feels a lot better. Yeah, it does. And they look like 3 regular doubles here first. Now that's too tight. That's interesting. That one's too loose. What's halfway between those two? What I might do there is, okay, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to take that one out. And I'm going to use the intermediate thickness on the other side. Oh, no, that's not bad. Okay, you see there, that's a lot straighter now, the white key, and the black keys are good. So that's the kind of experimentation you have to go through to get the exact right tension. So here we are. I've actually got the gap holders in every position now. Of course, I can't put one at the end here, although oh, that's actually, yeah, that would be difficult. But that's not bad. I made sure when I got to the end that I wasn't putting too much tension on the last key. I mean, you don't use the keys on the end very much. Of course, these ones are less important as well. You probably only go down there, what, 2% of the time, maybe 5% of the time. See, this got still a little wobble there, but I'm not unhappy with that. That's what's that? That's a C sharp, I think. No, E flat. Hang on. But that's that F sharp key. That's perfect now. Really good. Still got a very fast action. No problem with that. And as far as getting the spacing right, I'm really happy with the spacing of the keys now. It's actually better than it was before. I didn't pick that up when I started, so I'm glad I picked that up before I finished off. Yeah, the spacing's really good. That one's slightly off, but that's, yeah. What else did I notice about it? Oh, there was one thing I was going to say, and that is that I don't know if I need to do anything to retain those, you know, to hold those in there other than the friction they've got, because they hold themselves in there pretty well. I did notice when I did the test just with the sponge that a couple of them over a period of a week or two were wriggling out, but I think the reason for that is that I was actually using folds, and yeah, see, there's one there, that one was wiggling out. I was using folds, and also I worked out that you don't need any space, you don't need any gap filler at the bottom of that gap, because that's not going to move at all. That's the bit that's attached to the plastic base. It's only the part at the top that you really need to take care of. With this, this sort of manufactured form that I've made, it stays in there really well. Yeah. So I'm going to put this back together and enjoy playing it for the first time in 6 years with a reasonably accurate action. So 5 hours total it took. But it was either that or buy a new one, so I think I'm still ahead.